Alright, so first we're going to start with the Algebra Assessment Review. This is from 2024 test. So questions may be similar to this, they may be the same, but either way, I'm going to show you how to go through these. I'm going to do this in 5 question groups, so let's start with the first 5 questions. Alright, so here's a question. It says, here's a baseball player. All this stuff up here really doesn't matter to solve the question. This is all superfluous information, right? Because it says which equation solves for E. So this is just telling us to rearrange this equation and solve for E. There's 2 ways to look at it, right? You can say A equals 9E divided by N, and we're trying to solve for E, okay? So in order to get the N over here, right, I need to multiply both sides by N. That's going to clear out the N, so AN equals 9E. I'm not trying to solve for 9E, I'm trying to solve for just E, so I have to divide both sides by the coefficient of my variable term, which is 9. That's going to make that 1, so E equals AN divided by 9. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is I have one term on each side. Remember, terms are separated by plus, minus, and minus signs. These are not separated by anything on each side. So it's just A equals 9E divided by N. Remember, A is just A over 1. If you need to get rid of it on this side, it's in the denominator on this side, so it becomes on the numerator on the other side. Okay, this is all over 1, right? And if it's on the numerator on this side of the equal sign, it becomes on the denominator of the other side. All right, so there's 2 different ways to look at it. Right, and my answer is AN divided by 9 equals E. So that is that one. Right, here is this one. It gives me a function. Okay, first thing I'm looking at this function, what form is it in? So I grab my algebra reference sheet that I've marked up, that you should do too, and you look at your different equations, right? This is in standard form. Let me shift it to y-intercept form. It's the most useful for these, right? So I need to solve for one y. So let's get the y's, everything but y to one side. So this 7 needs to go to the other side. It's positive on that side, so it's going to be negative on this side. So 4y equals negative 7x plus 14. Okay, I'm not trying to solve for 1y, I'm trying to solve, or 4 y's, I'm trying to solve for 1y. So I have to divide everything by 4. Okay, so that becomes y equals negative 7 fourths plus 14 fourths, which is 3.5. If I had a calculator, it'd be pretty easy. It's not 2. All right, so let's see how I'd answer this. Right, this slope is negative. Right, so I'm going to find all the positive slopes and eliminate them. Right, that's a positive slope, and that's a positive slope. Right, I know that the slope is negative because it's y equals mx plus b. If it's a negative slope, it goes down left to right. These go up left to right. So it's either this one or this one. Next, I take a look at this, and this is 14 fourths, which if I calculated it, it would turn into 3.5, which is my b term, which is my y-intercept. Right, so I looked at 2 y-intercepts. Right, I'm like, okay, which one has a y value of 3.5? It's this one right here. So that is my answer for that one. Okay. Now I have an inequality shown. Again, what form is this inequality in? Remember, I switch the sign for inequalities only when I divide everything by a negative or multiply everything by a negative when solving for y. Okay, so y I gotta get by itself. In order to do that, I need to get 4x to the other side. Right, so if it's positive on that side, it's gonna be negative on that side. So 5y equals negative 4x plus 10. There's an invisible plus sign in front of there. Okay, so why did I put x first? Because y equals mx plus b. Right, now I have to divide everything by the coefficient of my variable term. So I'll divide it by 5. That's just going to give me y. This shouldn't be an equal sign. This is a greater than or equal to sign. Y equals negative 4/5 x negative 4/5 x plus 10. Okay, so this is a negative slope, so I eliminate the ones with positive slopes. Okay, so that's a negative slope, that's a negative slope. Now, which one of these best shows me that y is greater than the line? This is the equation for the line. If I said it equal to y, it would just be the line, but it's equal to and greater than the line, so it's everything in here. All right, another way to look at this or to figure this out is do the origin test, right? So the origin is not in the shaded region, so I expect it to yield a false if I put in 0 for x and y. Whoops, happened to all my lights. Okay, if it is part of it, right, I would expect a true when I put in 0 for x and y. So let's see. Y is 0, is greater than or equal to negative 4/5 times 0 is 0. This shouldn't be 10, this should be 2. Okay, should be 2 because 5 divided by 10 is 2. Okay, meaning that's the y-intercept, which is 2 and 2, but which side of the line is it on? Anyway, so this is 0 plus 2. This 0 is greater than or equal to 2. This is false, so this is the correct answer, right? So there you go. Here is something similar, but different. It's only one-dimensional. And this is an OR statement. Remember, OR statements make gaps. Okay? OR statement makes gaps. So I can right away eliminate the AND statements. Right there and right there. It's not those. Okay, but you can also treat this as two separate equations. You can treat it as 2x minus 1 is less than or equal to 3, and 1/2 x plus 4 is greater than 7. In each occasion, you solve for x, right? So it's negative on that side, it's going to be plus on this side. So 2x is less than or equal to 3 plus 1 is 4. Divide both sides by the coefficient of my variable term, which is 2. So this is going to be x is less than or equal to 2. Okay? This is 4. Okay? X is less than or equal to 2. All right, so this one is an equal to. Right? So the equal to means that I use the solid line. Right? And this, since I have the x on the left and the variable on the right, or sorry, the constant on the right, this sign like this is kind of like an arrow. Right? So this is the solid 2, and it's here. This is not a solid 2, so it's not that one. That's all I need to answer this one. But let's go ahead and look at the other side too. I'm going to solve for this inequality. I got to get the 4 to the other side, so it's going to become minus 4. Because it's positive on this side, it's negative on this side. So 1/2 x is less than 7. Sorry, this should be 7 minus 4, which is 3. Now I have to divide both sides by the coefficient of my variable term. I'm going to divide by 1/2, which is the same as doubling it or multiplying it by 2. Right? So if I multiply this by 2, the x goes, the 1/2 and the x, well, the 1/2 and the 2 make a 1. If I multiply this by 2, this is going to be x is less than 6. I did not have to flip the sign because I did not divide or multiply by a negative. And this does not have an underline under it, so it's going to be the open circle. So again, it's this one. So that's another way to have identified the correct answer. So the correct answer here is A. All right, so finally, I have number 5 here, and it's just solve this inequality. All right, variables left, constants right. All right, so let's take our variables are right here. Let's move this one left. Right, so it's negative on this side, so it's going to be positive on this side. So x minus 3x. Okay, and let me move the constant to the right, which is going to be less than or equal to negative 5 minus 7. It's negative on this side, so it's it's positive on this side, so it's negative on this side. All right, so this is going to be a 1x minus 3x is negative 2x. And then a negative 5 minus a 7 is a negative 12. right? So now I have to divide both sides by the coefficient of my variable term, which is -2, -2. So because I divided by a negative, I have to flip my sign. So -2 divided by -2 is x, and then negative divided by negative is a positive. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So this is all values of x such that x is less than or equal to 6 on a number line. It looks like this with 6 right here, and it includes 6, and it points this way, so it's going to go like this. That is with the number line, but that doesn't answer the question. The answer is right there. Okay, so hopefully that helps you. The first 5. We'll get to the next 5 in the next video.